Acorn TV, proud sponsor of Just Seen It, offers hundreds of hours of British mysteries, dramas, and comedies, streaming commercial-free on demand. Learn more at acorn.tv/PTV. On this episode of Just Seen It, we review the return of Bilbo Baggins in The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug.
Benedict Cumberbatch is having a great year. First he was Khan, and now he's Smaug.
The period crime drama, American Hustle.
There is a powerhouse quartet here in this film from previous David O. Russell films.
Based on true events, the action thriller, Lone Survivor.
Yet again, Peter Berg demonstrates how good a director he is.
And from director Martin Scorsese, The Wolf of Wall Street.
It's a clever script, and it's filled with obscenities and the obscene.
All right here on Just Seen It. Continuing on their journey, Bilbo Baggins and his friends head toward Lonely Mountain.
If we succeed, all will share in the wealth of the mountain.
While making new allies, they also encounter many obstacles, but nothing prepares them for the terrifying dragon in The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug.
Hi, I'm Sean.
I'm Aaron.
And I'm Brenna. And today we're here to talk about the second installment in Peter Jackson's Hobbit trilogy, The Desolation of Smaug. We've all just seen it. How about you start us off, Aaron?
I think it's pretty clear that The Hobbit didn't need to be stretched out into 3 movies and around 8 hours of runtime. It's a 300-page story. Putting all that aside, I enjoyed this movie better than the first one, particularly because there was a darker tone. I felt like the action was better choreographed. It had a little more weight to it. That's why I liked it.
I really think one of the best parts of this film is the action, the choreography, the fights. We get to see a lot more of the really cool fighting style of the elves, and it breaks up the monotony that we had before.
It's like the Two Towers for the Hobbit trilogy. It's the one that has less character development, a lot more action, and is just the one where you're waiting for the real stuff to happen in the third movie.
It just seems endless. If I had to describe this movie to somebody, I would say they go to the mountain and they meet a dragon. That's all that happens in 2 hours and 41 minutes of this movie.
The problem isn't that they change things from the source material. I'm a huge fan. I've read the books a million times. I can name all the dwarves. The problem isn't that they changed things or added things. That's okay. You have to do that when you adapt a book. I understand that. The problem is the things that they added and changed are unnecessary. But the source material is taken from The Hobbit. It's taken from the unfinished stories of Tolkien. It's taken from the appendices of Lord of the Rings. You can tell these stories, but tell The Hobbit and then tell the prequel to Lord of the Rings. They don't mesh together very well. The Hobbit is a lighthearted treasure hunt story.
The Lord of the Rings, we know the stakes. The stakes are about as high as stakes could possibly be.
Yeah, there
We're
are no
looking at-
stakes in The Hobbit.
Well, there are some, but they're considerably less. It's let's go get the gold and have this guy go back to the throne.
Yeah.
The dwarves, to me, are boring. I can't remember how many there are, first off, but we've only really got 3 that have any moments at all in this movie. I think the rest of them have become indistinguishable from each other.
In addition to that, we have this love story between Legolas and Tauriel.
Boring.
All we have is Legolas being creepy, and he's being a stalker. He's like standing in the shadows, watching her talk to another dude.
He's not being a stalker. Yeah, Legolas was underused. All the elf stuff was kind of silly. The performances of everybody brought something new. I mean, Martin Freeman has more to do. He's got one more emotion to play in this movie. I thought Martin Freeman was great as Bilbo.
I love Martin Freeman. Martin Freeman, I think, is one of the best parts of this film. His performance is sweet. He's nuanced, and we got to see a little bit of his, the darkness creeping into him as the ring starts to possess him, which I feel is a good way of integrating Lord of the Rings into The Hobbit, because The Hobbit was written before the greater Lord of the Rings mythos came up.
You're not the same Hobbit as the one who left the Shire. I was going to tell you. I found something in the Goblin tunnels.
Martin Freeman is good. I just think that they rendered him flat. He's just...
It's not much of him.
There's not much of him. He's killing orcs and spiders at will, back and forth, and there's not really... I didn't really see anything from him in terms of how that weighed on him or didn't weigh on him. All the characters from The Lord of the Rings that have been brought back here are considerably less interesting than they've ever been before. Gandalf is off on his own journey, and most of it just seems to interrupt the flow of us getting to the mountain anyway. Legolas, He had Gimli to play off of in The Lord of the Rings. Here he's got nobody. He's just killing orcs.
Evangeline Lilly plays Toriel, the elf that Legolas stalks. She's fine. She doesn't have much to do except go against the wishes of the guy in charge.
Thranduil.
Yes, played by Lee Pace.
He's fantastic.
He's awesome.
He's this crazy diva, and it's the best thing, which works for his character, because his character, we don't get much in the books, except for the fact that he's vain and likes shiny things. I think Evangeline Lilly struggled with some of the more fantastical dialogue.
She's been made up for this movie. She was not in the book. And
Which
so
I'm excited about, because otherwise there'd be no women in the film at all.
It will not end here. With every victory, this evil will grow. If your father has his way, we will do nothing.
We will hide within our walls, live our lives away from the light.
We have to talk about Benedict Cumberbatch. He does the voice of Smaug, and he is fantastic.
He's my favorite part of the movie, definitely the best new character of this film. I could have sat in that chamber and listened to him talk and walk around Bilbo for an hour.
Of course, directing here is Peter Jackson, who has now made 5 of these films, and he's got a passion for this work, clearly. He's making a 310-page book into a trilogy of movies that's going to run over 8.5 hours. Clearly, he loves this material. Maybe he loves it a little bit too much.
Yeah.
One of the main problems here is the tone. Is this fight over, is it going to be a dark prequel to Lord of the Rings as we find out about Sauron's origins, or is it a lighthearted children's book that The Hobbit is? And because of that, they have trouble integrating these, just like they have trouble integrating all the different storylines they've invented.
This Hobbit sequel is the desolation of 2 hours and 41 minutes of your life. Skip it.
The Desolation of Smaug was much better than the first film, and hopefully a precursor for the final film in the trilogy. I enjoyed it thoroughly, so I say see it.
The story is bloated, but the action's fantastic and the performances are great. For full effects, see it in theaters, but you can just stream it.
All right, I wrote that up to 1.5 tickets, which is a stream it for The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. Cheers. Stop dragging my heart around.
Oh.
A con man and his lover are forced to work for the FBI.
It's gotta be the best we've ever done.
But they soon get caught up with politicians and the mob. When a con's wife steps in, the entire plan is jeopardized in American Hustle.
Hi, I'm Zoriana.
I'm Liz.
And I'm Leah, and we're all gathered here today to review the latest David O. Russell film, American Hustle. We've all just seen it. Liz, why don't you take it away?
I'm nervous.
Okay.
I'm a little nervous because there's a lot of hype for this film, and I feel like everyone loves it. I'm the cranky one who has all these problems with it.
What are your problems with it?
First of all, the script. I mean, I think that the script had a lot of metaphors that felt very transparent from time to time. Like Jennifer Lawrence's character has some nail polish that smells like something rotten, and she always brings it up. She's like, there's sweet, but there's something rotten underneath. And I'm like, oh, that's your character.
The top coat, it's like perfumey, but there's also something rotten. And I know that sounds crazy, but I can't get enough of it. But smell it, it's true. Dolly, historically, the best perfumes in the world, they're all laced with something nasty and foul. It is true. It is true. Irving loves them. Oh my God. You can't get enough of that smell.
There's a lot of duality that's going on here in terms of identity. There's both the good and the bad. There's the sweet and the sour, right? So the filmmakers are very clear about everything is double-edged and there are doppelgangers happening all over the place. And it didn't work for you. It worked for me. I love that. I love the complexity of creating characters that are not what they appear to be.
I thought it mixed a lot of genres. It had like the best of caper movies, like Steven Soderbergh's Ocean's 11 remakes. It had a mix of screwball comedy, a little bit of mafia stuff thrown in, like Goodfellas, and then capped off with like this great stylistic 70s period, like Boogie Nights. To me, it was great.
There were lots of twists and turns. I feel like from the opening sequence, that opening line, some of these things actually happened, really kind of set the tone and established a kind of humor, which was very wry. I also think that it was kind of clever that there are no real heroes here and there are no real villains. And for me, the center of the story is that we're all kind of conning ourselves. We're all kind of hustling out here.
And that's the theme of identity that's in this movie. The characters here either want to be someone else, they're pretending to be someone else, they're conning each other by being somebody else. They're not happy with who they are and where they are at. In a way, it's a little bit heartbreaking that they're not happy where they are.
Well, and I personally felt like that was kind of cold, brutal reality of this film, which is, wow, are we not where we want to be? Are we pretending until we actually get there? And for me, that's
fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. And it was that really resonated for me. Liz, not so much.
I think the issue is that there's a lot of hype leading up to this film, and so when you go to it, you're going to it with that context, and so you're holding it to that standard. And so for me, I was just pretty disappointed by it because I look at David O. Russell, I used to wrap him up in the same package as my lovely Alexander Payne, and I used to think of them as two like acerbic, cranky, dry filmmakers who have staunchly independent points of view. Whereas I think Alexander Payne stayed fairly rigid in terms of his point of view. I think David O. Russell gets more and more to the point where he feels like he's trying to please an audience. But when it comes down to it, it felt like too much of an amalgamation of Casino, Goodfellas, Boogie Nights, all these things that you guys liked about it. Right. But to me, that was reflective of it not having its own distinct point of view.
All right, this is gonna be fantastic. We're doing video surveillance. I'm doing this from the feet up.
You will never do it properly because you got too much government attitude to be small and sleek. I'm like the Viet Cong, man, all right? I'm in and I'm out. I was there the whole time. You don't know it, all right? That's an art of becoming somebody who people can pin their beliefs and their dreams on.
For me, I loved the actors in here. Most of them, with the exception of Jeremy Renner, have all worked with David O. Russell before. You have Jennifer Lawrence, Amy Adams, Christian Bale, Bradley Cooper. I mean, this is a powerhouse quartet. And when they're conning each other and changing their identities and going over one another, I mean, it's like this dance. It was just like this intricate dance that was so entertaining to watch. These guys were showstoppers.
There was a lot of subtlety going on here, and I think you liked Christian Bale's performance?
I think Christian Bale and Jennifer Lawrence were the exception to all my criticizing and cranky qualities of this review.
And see, and I'm not a big fan of Jennifer Lawrence, but she brought the neurosis here.
I love her. But that moment when she says, "I hate change," you know, and she starts crying, I was like, I get you. I get your character. And when Christian Bale's stuck in the dry cleaning rack, I'm like, I understand that character. So there's these great moments there.
David O. Russell has always made great characters for females. Always. You look at The Fighter, right down to the sisters in that movie.
The sisters.
Yes. Every character who's a woman is a great role. And here, he created two lead women who are just so different, yet so fantastic. And when they meet, it's like explosive. American Hustle isn't as emotionally satisfying as Silver Linings Playbook or The Fighter, but it's nonetheless highly entertaining, sexy, and fun. See it.
I anticipate that this film will actually be beloved by audiences, but it missed the mark for me, so I'm going to say stream it.
As a solid piece of filmmaking, I have to say it's time to get your American Hustle on. See it.
Well, our votes add up to 2.5 tickets, which is a see it for American Hustle.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm gonna
do the hustle.
Do the hustle.
Everyone here at Just Seen It was shocked and saddened recently when we heard the news that actor Paul Walker died tragically in a car accident on Thanksgiving weekend. Personally, I had the pleasure of interviewing Mr. Walker several times throughout his career, first on the set of Fast 5, and most recently just a few weeks ago when we sat down to talk about his new film Hours in what turned out to be one of his final interviews. Walker will of course be best remembered for his role as Brian O'Connor in the Fast and Furious franchise, but he also appeared in such successful films as Pleasantville, She's All That, Varsity Blues, Into the Blue, 8 Below, Flags of Our Fathers, and Takers. But I think some of his best work is in the new film Hours, where he plays a father caring for his newborn son in an abandoned hospital during Hurricane Katrina.
Your mother, she had a hard time sleeping at night. But in the daytime, she was this real force of nature. Just, she ran her own business.
In what can only be perceived now as an eerie moment, in my final seconds with him, I said to Walker that I was looking forward to seeing him in Fast and Furious 8, which at that point had been planned. He replied prophetically to me, "I don't know if I'll be there, bro." With Walker's death, Hollywood mourns not only a fine actor whose best work was yet to come, but also a kind and gentle soul.
During the Afghan War, a Navy SEAL team is sent on a secret mission.
Going in with a 4-man team, Axelson, myself, Dietz, Marcus.
They must capture or kill a notorious leader of the Taliban.
We have eyes on Shaw. That's a lot more than 10 guys. That's an army.
But the plan goes wrong, and only one soldier lives to tell the tale in Lone Survivor.
Hi, I'm Scott.
I'm Leah.
And I'm Liz. We're here to talk about Lone Survivor. We've all just seen it. Scott, why don't you start us off?
This film is a masterwork. It is brutal, powerful, very intense. Directed and written by Peter Berg, who did The Rundown, Friday Night Lights, Battleship. Okay, I thought this was going to be a cheesy, corny movie because the trailers don't do it justice. But instead, this film brings Peter Berg to the level of Paul Greengrass, of Catherine Bigelow, of Ridley Scott.
Whoa, Catherine Bigelow.
Yes, but this is a master class film. I loved it. It's fantastic.
Number one, Peter Berg is a very talented filmmaker and writer, okay? Friday Night Lights, Battleship, for what it was worth, it was entertaining, okay?
It was, yes.
But you know what? This film is less storytelling and more homage to what happens to soldiers when they're on the field of battle.
So what's the problem?
The problem is it's not a story. The second act consists entirely of a protracted, extended shootout. I get it. And it's brutal, and it's visceral, and it's violent, and it's engaging, and
Keep
it's all
going.
of those things.
Okay.
However, if you're looking for a story, if you're looking for something that's more compelling than that, he misses the mark on that.
The way I read the point of the film is that it's all about showing the extreme situations that these men go through in order to make sacrifices. And so if that's the intention, then I do think the film fulfilled that intention very well.
I think it was very successful on that level. However, I also, in talking to several people who read the book, there was a lot more meat in terms of what sets a person apart that wants to be special ops. But we don't get a sense of any of that with any of the characters in this, which is fine if it's more important that you look at the group as a main character as opposed to any of the individuals.
Looking to the point you made about how there's no specific characters, you don't really get to know the characters, I think that opening sequence was amazing, and that got me right into the zeitgeist of the film.
This is a movie that was really, it left me shell-shocked. When it was over, when I was walking in my car afterwards, I could not talk to anyone because I felt like I'd just been in battle. And on those terms, on that level, the movie is a resounding success.
I say again, this is Spartan 01 over.
Hey, eyes down. Eyes down. Eyes down. Eyes down.
Danny, you radio working?
These actors, you got Emile Hirsch, Ben Foster, Taylor Kitsch, and Mark Wahlberg. But when they're all out in the field and they're all carrying out their mission, the way they're all dressed the same, it felt like one person. And the standout from that person was Ben Foster.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay,
He's great. He is an intense actor.
He's amazing.
Is so great in so many things like Alpha Dog and 310 to Yuma.
He's good at Mechanics.
I liked him in the Mechanics.
He's a fantastic actor, and he really stood out above the brutality of this movie.
I agree.
Shaw killed 20 Marines last week. 20. We let him go. 20 more will die next week. 40 more the week after that. Our job is to stop Shaw. Why do these men have the right to dictate how we do our job?
Rules of engagement says we cannot touch them.
I understand. And I don't care.
They're touting Mark Wahlberg as for these awards. They're using him for marketing materials, but he was the most lackluster aspect of the whole film, in my opinion.
I almost thought that, man, was Mark Wahlberg miscast in this?
I do think he was
because
miscast.
I felt like he was more panic and less gravitas, right?
Well, Mark Wahlberg, it's interesting. When I was watching Lone Survivor and he was captured, and it reminded me of the scene in Three Kings, which is a brilliant movie from 1999, which
David
is
O. Russell.
ahead of its time. David O. Russell, talk about a movie that is more relevant now, but I digress. Mark Wahlberg knows how to play that captured person really well.
All of the men had this particular kind of masculinity in various shapes and sizes and colors. You know, there was so much variety, but they all had this kind of upstanding macho-ness that I really appreciated. It kind of exuded, the whole film exuded it, and it lifted from the screen.
And it drew them together, too.
Yes, and that was,
really had each other's
brotherhood
backs.
was extremely present in this movie.
Right.
And it was directed really well by Peter Berg. I know you think that there's not much character development in these soldiers, but I do think there were small character moments, especially when specific characters die. They each get their own time in the sun, essentially.
I feel like he invoked a man's man style, which is pumped up, gritty, dirty, sweaty, bloody, just muscling through all the kinds of things that these guys are being challenged with.
It's unflinching, doesn't pull any punches, but that's That's what he wanted. He wanted to capture that feeling of war. Peter Berg proves his chops as a masterclass filmmaker with this brutal, powerful film, one of the year's very best. See it.
Lone Survivor is a powerful homage to the physical sacrifice made by fallen soldiers that's best viewed at home. Stream it.
Lone Survivor is a male-dominated film that doesn't make any apologies, but tells an engrossing story. See it.
Our votes add up to 2.5 tickets. That is a see it for Lone Survivor. Cheers.
Cheers.
And here's to America's heroes.
After the collapse of Wall Street in the 90s, a stockbroker goes into business on his own. He quickly creates the most controversial brokerage firm in the country.
Name of the game, move the money from your client's pocket into your pocket. But if you can make your client's money at the same time, it's advantageous to everyone, correct? No.
But he swiftly falls into a world of drugs, sex, and money in The Wolf of Wall Street.
Hi, I'm Liz.
I'm Anna Maria.
And I'm Sean. Next up is Martin Scorsese's new film, Wolf of Wall Street. We've all just seen it. Anna Maria, would you buy or sell Wolf of Wall Street?
I would totally buy it. I loved it. It was great to see Martin Scorsese go back to a territory that he's completely the king of, which is men in groups doing despicable things to get ahead, completely amoral, completely high on every single type of drug there is.
The mark of a great filmmaker is that he'll explore the similar themes throughout his own canon of work. And Wolf of Wall Street is like Raging Bull, it's Casino, it's Goodfellas, but not derivative enough to be irritating. It's just still tackling those same issues.
Well, you know it's a Scorsese movie.
Yeah.
If you don't know it's directed by Martin Scorsese, 5 minutes into this movie, you're going to know who made this film, and it's Martin Scorsese. If anything, I feel like I've somewhat seen this movie before. I mean, the Casino and Goodfellas did sort of go over similar territory. This is essentially organized crime. It's a different form of organized crime, but it is organized crime. And so I do kind of like it when he branches out a little bit. But if he wants to make a remake of Goodfellas for the rest of his life, I'll take it, and I'll watch it every time.
But I think there's a lot of Raging Bull in there. I mean, there's that exploration of primal man, and they're like beating their chest, and it's all about this aggressive attitude towards life. Where Aviator left off, this film is kind of picking up that kind of primal discussion.
You show me a pay stub for $72,000 on it, I quit my job right now and I work for you. Hey, Paulie, what's up? No, everything's fine. Hey, listen, I quit.
DiCaprio, I thought, was terrific in this movie. He shines. He's this manic, crazed performance on drugs almost all the time, and he gives these speeches in front of the group of people that would make Gordon Gekko jealous. I mean, it was just top form for DiCaprio.
It's hard to expect anything less from him. I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio always picks these roles that are just epic, and it's always like a man and like the devolution of man or the degradation of that character. And so he did that very well, but he's done that in Gatsby, did that in Aviator. You know, I see that a lot.
Like Titanic.
But never, but it never gets tiresome. I was surprised by Kyle Chandler. He was like the real treat for me, and he played that manipulative earnestness very well.
I love Jonah Hill, and I want to say that because I'm not a Jonah Hill fan. But he was so perfect in that adoring nitwit. I mean, there's no light bulb to go on in his head because there's nothing going on there. And he just adores Jordan, the DiCaprio character. And with the fake teeth and all, I just love it. Actually, I love the whole cast. And yes, I would agree, DiCaprio is fantastic. And that is, to me, the acumen of real comedy. It is hilarious, but to him, he's playing it as high drama.
I got a couple mil coming in like a week. Yeah. And when it gets in, I'll give you a call, you come pick it up.
You give me a call.
When it gets here, I'll give you a call and you'll come pick it up.
Well, we don't work for you, man.
Shh. Sweetheart, you have my money taped to your boobs. Okay, technically you do work for me.
I was thoroughly impressed with Margot Robbie, who plays his wife. When she first shows up on screen, you're thinking, well, she looks really good. I understand why DiCaprio went after her, and I understand why the movie went after her. And then as the film evolves over the course of 3 hours, you really get a full-fleshed out performance by her, and she's very impressive, and I hadn't really seen her before.
Another thing that I really loved about the ensemble cast, and that's something that only Scorsese could pull off, I think. There's 3 directors in there. There's Spike Jonze, Rob Reiner, and Jon Favreau, and they're all ridiculous. They're all playing like these outrageous characters with such gusto. I loved seeing that. I also loved seeing Jean Dujardin being a complete sleazeball.
I did wonder while I was watching it, I would see a scene and I would go, do they really need that scene? And then the scene went in and I would go, no, they did need that scene. So I'm not entirely sure if I was the editor here what I would cut down off the runtime either.
Go and see it during the day. I mean, I saw it during the day. 3 hours didn't feel very long for me.
It feels a lot shorter than The Hobbit. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like time well spent is what I would say. There was very little continuity from cut to cut within the scenes. Things would disappear, things would reappear, but it doesn't matter because the emotional arc between the characters was solid. And I think Thelma Schoonmaker, I mean, she always gets lots of praise because Scorsese and her are like this powerful team, but yet again, she does it very well.
It was a throwback a little bit to the world of Goodfellas. I saw a lot of Goodfellas in there. It was great to see Scorsese back on that field.
Wolf of Wall Street is a very strong film, and it's a very Scorsese film. See it.
Wolf of Wall Street shows the Scorsese stock is very much worth investing in. See it.
The Shenanigans of Wall Street finally got the Scorsese treatment, and you laugh all the way through it. See it.
Cheers.
Cheers to Marty.
Cheers to Marty.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My precious.
I'm so verklempt.
I kept waiting for Marky Mark to get up and do the Napoleon Dynamite dance. I'm just saying.
You do a good McConaughey, like, next model thing. It's very good.
Thank you.
Acorn TV, proud sponsor of Just Seen It, offers hundreds of hours of British mysteries, dramas, and comedies, streaming commercial-free on demand. Learn more at acorn.tv/PTV.